peak antifreeze series powered by iRacing.com has officially begun.
Monday nights, well, they mean Skippy nights here on Racesport TV and on iRacing Live as we welcome you to this special presentation of Racesport TV on iRacing Live. This is Monday Night Skippys, and it is the funnest, most exciting 25 minutes of racing you will see pretty much all week long. We're here at Phillip Island in Australia for the third round of this series championship. Some of the greatest drivers in Club UK&I Ireland are doing battle once again. Qualifying, well, that is almost in the books. Just waiting for the last couple of drivers to come past the start finish line. There you can see Ryan Walker. He is in number 2 car. Past start finish line he comes. He will remain in the 15th place. The checkered flag is out. If a driver's on a lap, they can complete that one. Keith Sharp will be the last person past the start finish line. He has now completed his lap. That is all drivers completed their lap. We're going to run yourself through your starting grid for this, the third round of Monday Night Skippys in support of Shelter here on Racesport TV. We're going to cycle it through, and well, Rachel, you can see Fahim Atanides dominant in qualifying, a quarter of a second faster than anyone else in the field.
Good evening, Will. Yeah, well, brilliant time for Fahim, but it was a late charge by the number 8 machine. He actually put that lap in right at the end of qualifying. He'd been in second for the majority of the session with a brilliant final lap there, securing him that pole.
Yeah, and there you can see, well, there are your top 10. We'll run yourself through your full starting grid. Atanides from Grunhill, Grillo, then Mercer, Williams, Adcock, Turner, O'Connell, Peter Cohen, and Paul Thurston. They are your top 10. Oh yeah, there's a lot of Union flags out here. This is Club UK and Ireland. So, all these drivers, they know each other. They race with each other every single week. And if you've never seen the excitement on Monday Night Skippys before, you are in for a treat. We have seen 2 wide, 3 wide, 4 wide, even 5 wide racing in this series before. 37 drivers are looking today to get themselves to the absolute top of the rostrum. Those engines getting close to revving, getting themselves ready for another round worth of racing. We've got ourselves about a minute before all these cars have to be on the started grid. If they're not on the grid by that point, they must start this race from pit road. All drivers will basically run flat out. They won't need to make a pit stop here. If they end up on pit road on a track like this small, they could end up being half of that, maybe even a full lap down. And at that point, it's very difficult to claw your way back through the field. Almost all drivers are now down on the starting grid, waiting for Lee Harding, Jonathan Verke, Rick Paul, Ed O'Neill, Robert Plumley to join those drivers. On the front of the grid, though, you can see Fahim Atanides in that number 8 machine. For many years, he used to run as a high force India colours. No more. Engines are revving. Here we are then, round number 3 of the championship. Monday Night Skippys is officially underway, and it was a bad start there by Atanides in comparison to the O2 car as they come down in towards the first corner for the first time. You got the number 29 machine right there in the mix as well. They come down into this ultra fast right-hander. You can see 2 wide already, battle for the race lead. That is the O2 car trying to work himself the outside line. That'll give himself the inside line in towards turn number 2, and it's going to be David Grunhill trying to go to the race lead. Not quite yet. They'll stay 2 wide for the time being, but behind Rachel, they're through. They're 2 wide, they're 3 wide, and now Grunhill will go to the race lead, even if it's just for one moment.
Contact towards the rear of the field, Will. We have a big pilot back there, and I believe that involves the car of
You've got Tim Gibson.
Alan Patterson, it is.
Yeah, you've got Tim Gibson in the Club 100 car in the mix as well. You've got Alan Patterson in the number 14 machine. He is going very slowly. You've got the number 27 machine of Ben Summers. He's down in the 31st place. So a 3-car incident. We'll get ourselves a look at that one in a moment's time. Only one real incident then. As you can see, Atenides have moved himself back to the front of the pack. We're on board now with Grunhill as they work themselves up towards Lukey Heights, one of the most fabulous sections of racetrack here. You work yourself uphill, off camber, left, and then the track will just drop right about now. Braking for the next corner is so difficult. Grunhill playing a little bit of defense there from the driver of Mark Mercer, who's just behind him. We had a car just go off the racetrack as well.
Mark Turner.
That time was scoring. That was Mark Turner falling down the racetrack, Rachel. He is now, well, actually outside of the top 15.
He is indeed. Lost a lot of positions there, but, well, easier to run wide and difficult to join there at Lukey Heights. So, pretty experienced driver getting back on track in a very safe manner. Could have been a big disaster rejoining in that low-speed corner, but he made it through. Just to kind of go back to that. Oh, car in the wall. We'll go back to that in a second, but just to clarify the earlier incident, Robert Plumley took it 3 wide in turn number 2 up the middle, and that's what caused the incident between himself and 4 other cars.
Yeah, we're going to try and get ourselves a look at that one right about now. So there we are. Replay of the start then. This is Adam Patterson. We're going to stay with him as they come down in towards the first corner. The incident was down in turn number 2. So we're going to ride ourselves on board then with Anna Patterson down in towards that first corner. We'll come back to that one in one moment's time. We'll stick it with this first incident for a moment as we've got the chance to roll the tape. And here you can see them down in towards turn number 2. You can see this field just bunching themselves up at this section of the racetrack. And this is the time when it's most difficult, more difficult than any other point in the race. And there you can see what was a 4-car incident, number 147 car involved. Rachel, give us a heads up. Who else now is out on the ranks?
We just had Luke Ridgway actually spin. He is in the, I believe that is the 8-0 car. He did spin it on his own, so nobody else involved. He's back on the track and running, although he is down now by the, I believe, Martin Brandon in 236. So he's down towards 27th, 28th place. So positions lost from 17th. But not the end of the day there for Luke Ridgway. David
Grunhill leads right now, but he's got Atenides side by side. They went themselves down the hill. That'll be the 0-2 car on the inside. Atenides on the outside, although Atenides now has the inside line for the next corner. We ride ourselves along board then with David Grunhill. You can see he loses the race lead for the time being. One thing you need to pay attention to, though, at this racetrack is just how far down the start-finish line is off of the final corner. We're going to get the speed chart up now for David Grunhill. You can see already he's looking to go back to the race lead, and we'll get the lap time at the line. Grunhill does officially lead that lap, and they're thinking about going 3 wide there in towards turn number 1. That is the number 33 Club 100 car of Mark Mercer, trying to get both of them. He will only get 1 for the time being. Rachel, that start-finish line is going to be very important as this race will progress.
Certainly is, Will. It's one of those corners. It's a real challenge because it's so far. Well, one of those finish lines is such a problem because it's so far down there. You have contact between Antonides and I believe that's Paul Grillo. As Stuart Adcock looks for a position in P number 5. But yeah, of course, with it being so far down, the draft is major, so you have to be in a position to be overtaking, have that finishing position to be there first. Because it's not really a realistic proposition for the driver leading on that final lap to defend against the draft here at Phillip Island.
Yeah, we often see photo finishes in this series. This is a track where we always expect to see some Mark Turner, Simon Maltby. They're running themselves 2 wide. It's actually see Turner just pushing wide on the exit of the 4th corner as they head themselves out into the 2nd hairpin in a row here at Phillip Island. This is a track which comes back around, and Mark Fisher, we can just see that, is classified as out of the race. That number 18 car is on pit road. His day is done as Bill Fraser and Tim Adcock working themselves side by side. 2 classic liveries, Rachel, trying to do battle as they work themselves up through Lukey Heights.
They are indeed, and getting a good run down through there now. Of course, probably trickiest corner on the track, Will. It's a tight downhill braking zone, so a lot of opportunity to get that wrong. But again, not really a passing zone, but it's a great place to get the momentum out of, and somewhere you have to get momentum out of for the run to the final corner.
Yeah, we'll just zoom ourselves in then. You can see a look at these 2 drivers. The Elf JPS car, that is of the number 34 machine of Bill Fraser, as at the line. It is Grunhill who leads from Mercer, who leads from Grillo, from Adcock, from Atenides. Atenides spawning back, as you can see, 3 wide in towards turn number 1 once again. And that's that battle we were just showing. We're going to turn back to it there in towards the first corner. Williams, Adcock and Fraser 3 wide into that first corner. And this is what we see every Monday night. These drivers going 2, going 3 wide. We're back on board now with Bill Fraser in that JPS car. Well, Rachel, that one was incredibly close. We're going to get a replay of the run out of Lukey Heights for these viewers once again to have a look at.
Yeah, great running from these guys, and well, remember Sonoma, of course, a couple of seasons ago when we had 3 wide around the entire track. It was crazy. We've had finishes at Monza within the thousandths of a second deciding the winner. And Phillip Island's historically been a great track for these guys. They always have some exciting racing down here in Australia, and it makes for exciting, fast, action-packed racing. We see a lot of passing as we have currently got Renault on the point. Anthony has dropped back into 4th. He's made a few mistakes. Murillo up into P number 3. Well, that's where he qualified. He's back in P number 3, I should say. But Mark Mercer, probably the bigger mover at the front there. So we have got some major movers currently in this field, like the likes of Tim Adcock up from P number 12 and Bill Fraser from P 13. Those two guys fighting right now as we go through Siberia and the run up towards Lukey Heights.
Yeah, we're just having a look down in the back. Martin Fox, another driver outrace. Attrition has been high in the early going here. Having looked all the way down the field, actually. Sam Motley versus Luke Ridgway. This is battle for P number 22 and P23 on track. There you can see the incredibly coloured number 80 machine there. One of the most colourful liveries you will see in all of Skip Barber Formula 2000. And, well, that is a sight to behold, Rachel, that number 8 machine of Luke Ridgway. And he's actually going to try and move himself there past Patrick Fairbanks into the final corner, out the final corner, down towards the start-finish line.
Yeah, great pass done there for those guys, and wow, good recovery from Ridgway. He had some problems earlier on. Patrick Fairbanks looking to go to the outside here. We'll see if he can hang it around the outside of Phillip Island. One of the few cars you can probably go through turn 1 too wide with. Barber, of course, having the outside turn 1, if he can hold it out there, means he does this. He has the inside line through turn number 2, a fast left-hand 180-degree corner. So that easily takes that position from Luke Ridgway, who's now under threat from Sam Watley.
Yeah, you can see those drivers again are scrapping it out, getting ourselves closer to the halfway point of this race. We were just showing a battle. We're going to go back to it. This is Simon Maltby versus Mark Turner versus Rich Jones. These drivers are incredibly close right now. Sam Wheatley and Patrick Fairbanks, they are still scrapping it out as well. Our big battles, Rachel, are down in the middle part of your field. We'll talk about these viewers who might be new to this series. What you often see out front is what I like to call the waiting game. They'll wait until lap number 11, then they'll start going all flat out. The reason why is right now from P5 to P6 is 1.5 seconds. They want to increase that gap and have as many drivers as possible out of the picture as these drivers head themselves into the final couple of laps.
That's certainly true, of course. You don't need to fight early on. To finish first, you must first finish, the old racing adage. And for these guys, that means you sit in line, you wait, you save your tyres, you save your car. You get to the end, of course, with dynamic track releasing on iRacing in the last build. We have seen a major drop-off in the last 2 weeks during these races. We've seen tyres being a factor. If you don't push the car, you save the tyres, and that could be a major advantage towards the end of this race. As we see there, that is up ahead, we see Clark Williams getting ahead of car Peter Cowan. But leaving what you have is important. These guys are just doing that. They're running cleanly, staying in line, making sure they have something left. Further down the pack, not really an option as we see big racing there with Alex Gillen back in the number 3 machine. He's down in 13th behind him as Piers Cocky. We've also got Simon Maltby, Mark Turner and Rich Jones fighting a little train there. Massive field, and we have this every week, Will. We have 37 cars on the grid tonight. And this is the norm for this series. We have full grids every week. This series is so popular, and the standard of racing is amazing. This many cars, they are incredibly clean.
Indeed so. We just had a look there. Our onboard coverage even today is brought to you by the iRacing Forum app for Android as we continue to have a look at this incredible battle going on. Rear end of your top 15. Ahead, we did just see Grillo moving himself to the front of the field. Right now, there are 5 drivers in this lead pack. The one at the rear, well, that is Fahim Atanides. He is holding on for the time being. Atanides today has had every single position inside the top 5. His job right now is to make sure that he keeps that second pack at least a second behind him. The draft is worth about 1.2 seconds a lap here. If you're within that draft range on this long front straightaway, you'll get it about 1.2, 1.3 seconds. Any further back, you won't get the full effect. So Atanides needs to make sure that he does not cause too much hassle behind, as in fact they are going too wide right now. That's Clark Williams and Mark O'Connell. Every time they go too wide in towards turn number 1, they are going to lose time. And in fact, Rachel, on that run in towards turn 1 alone, Williams and O'Connell lost themselves half a second.
I think at the same time, Will, I think Mark Williams was feeling trapped behind Mark O'Connell, wanted to get past so he can make a run towards the front 4. Of course, being a fast driver, he's usually at the front of these races. He needs to get up there, and he can't do all of that by sitting behind someone slower, letting a gap open up. So sometimes you have to bite the bullet, lose some time temporarily to allow you to make it up later on. Front 5 cars, though, are not racing each other at all. They're currently running conga line, so they are not slowing down at all. They're making a pretty good pace.
Indeed, and have a look at P number 10. From P number 10 to the race lead, 5.2 seconds. That means an average half a second separating all drivers inside of your top 10. That is incredibly close action as we work ourselves then towards the halfway point of this event. Ladies and gentlemen, you know there's so much good racing coming your way on Raceport TV. We've got ourselves a double header this coming weekend. We may have a champion in the iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series. Gregor Hutu may well be a 5-time champion, but there's still one more round of the championship to go, and that means a visit to Circuit of the Americas. Coverage of that will start 1:30 p.m. GMT on iRacing Live and on Raceport TV. But before we do that, we have ourselves the iRacing.com Petit Le Mans starting 1 p.m. GMT this coming Saturday. It's America's version of the greatest race in all of endurance racing. It's at Road Atlanta, and it will be this Saturday, 1 p.m. iRacing Live and on Raceport TV. Two Wide Racing, Bill Fraser, Tim Adcock down in towards that first corner. We're on board once again with Bill Fraser. We've had quite a lot of on board with Fraser here today, Rachel. But that JPS car is literally all over the place. He has been as high as P number 9, as low as P number 12, but battling for positions. And in fact, they're going too wide ahead of him right now in towards turn number 4. That is Mark O'Connell versus Clark Williams. And Atenides is starting to push Stuart Adcock a little bit further up the field, battle for P number 4.
Yeah, that's right, Will. And well, Bill Fraser is always one of our great drivers to look on board with. Always in the middle of the action. That GPS car looks stunning as usual. Fraser's had some great runs recently. A lot of good performance from him as he's moved from that mid-pack up towards the front of this field. But the level of competition here, Will, is so staggeringly high. Improvement that sometimes does seem a little stagnant, with drivers often finishing in similar spots, but you occasionally see breakthroughs, and drivers like Bill Fraser have been one of them. He's just had leap and bounds of performance, and I love watching him race. He's lucky, like here up the inside there of Tim Adcock, and he will do a dive into the hairpin. What a run.
Yeah, we're just trying to get ourselves a quick replay of an incident between, we believe it was Alex Gillen and Mark Turner. So we're just trying to figure out where this happened between these two drivers, as they are both classified as out of the race. We've actually got Patrick Fairbanks also classified as out of the race as it stands. We're just trying to figure out what happened with Gillen here. This is on tape, so we're trying to figure out what happened. But both those drivers out of the race. I believe, Rachel, it may well have been in towards turn number 1.
Could well be, Will. One of those tricky corners where we do tend to have occasionally incidents, so hopefully not a problem for those guys, and well, unfortunate end to their race. But just to update on the incident we had there with Bill Fraser and Tim Adcock. Bill Fraser actually got on the grass exiting the corner after he'd passed Adcock, lost the spot, and well, Adcock nearly gave it back as he nearly spun through turn 2, so this one's far from over.
Yeah, as we can see, hopefully we'll get that incident for you right about now. Probably, no, my luck, no, we're not by the looks of it, unfortunately. So we do apologise for that one, ladies. Oh, there we got the first wiggle there. There we got the wiggle. There we got the crash. That's why we had ourselves a 4-car pilot. And it all started with that number 16 machine getting himself just a little bit loose on the second apex of turn number 2. Now, people forget these Skip Barber cars. They run on road and street tyres. They do not run on specially designed tyres like you'd have in upper level series. We've got side by side between Adcock Stewart and Fahim Atenides, side by side through the Lukey Heights they come. A little bit of backsliding there for Fahim Atenides, and that's an important point to make, Rachel. These cars do not run on specially manufactured tyres. They essentially run on tyres you can pretty much pick up on your local car dealer.
Yeah, you could, if you ran out of tyres, you could go into the car park and nick someone's wheels. They'd work just fine. These cars are an entry-level formula. They are down that ladder, but they're such an integral step in the motor racing ladder to things like Formula 1 and IndyCar, because everyone has to start somewhere. Cars like the Skip Barber car, Formula Fords, Formula Renault 2.0, these cars are all the car that teaches drivers from karts how to keep control of the vehicle, how to look after the car, how to underdrive the car rather than overdrive it. Of course, Formula Renault 2.0 and the bigger cousin, the 3.5, they are coming to iRacing.com very soon. So major news for that one. As Fahim Anthony just gets very sideways there out of turn number 2, nearly losing his car in the process, but holds on. But as I was saying, Will, yeah, these are the cornerstone of motor racing on road courses, and they have a very special place in most drivers' hearts. As you see here, hugely popular.
Yeah, I want to go back actually to that slide from Fahim Anthony. It did more than just cause him to have a bit of a scary moment. It's meant that all of a sudden we have ourselves a 2-horse race out front. That gap, it was literally at the limit. We talk about the draft range here, but for Fahim Anthony, that slide down in towards turn number 2, there you can see back end kicking out on that number 8 car. It means now we have 2 drivers separated by 0.2 of a second out front. We're going to have a look at the gap there between those 2 drivers. It's Paul Grillo leading the race, Mark Mercer in second with 5 laps to go. Then it's 1.9 seconds from Fahim Atanides to Mark Mercer with Stuart Adcock right behind. We talk about Atanides so often, Rachel, in a kind of feast or famine mode. Atanides is charged back forward, but actually may well have cost him the chance now to have gone full race through. And yes, it was already about a second and a half. Yes, we've had a couple of incidents along the way, but now it looks as though it could be mano and mano unless Atanides and Adcock actually work together for the last 4 laps of this event.
Well, that's it, Will. They have 4 laps. It can happen. But up front, Grillo and Mercer, 2 of the old salty dogs of this series. 2 campaigning veterans from the UK&I Skip Barber Racing School Series. These guys have been here since the start. They are really experienced in this car. Incredible drivers. And, well, if anyone can duke it out for a victory, it's these 2. And it's been great to see Paul Grillo return and Mark Mercer. So, looking forward to see some action up ahead. Whether the young dogs of Adcock and Antonides can catch up, we'll soon have to find out. It's going to be a fun finish.
Yes, you can see as well. You've got yourselves that train going on, the mid-pack train right now. It involves David Grunhill, Clark Williams, Mark O'Connell, Peter Cohen, Tim Adcock, Bill Fraser is at the rear of that one, side by side between Paul Thurston and Piers Cokie right there. Cokie will lose out in the Redmayne Bentley car as they come down in towards turn number 6. The all-royal blue number 44 machine losing a spot there. To run through a couple of your retirees, we have a look down the field as well. Confirmed as out of the race here today. You've got Lee Harding, Jonas van Verke, Rick Paul, Ed O'Neill, Mick Watson, Russell Barnes, Ryan Walker, Mark Fisher, Patrick Fairbanks, all officially out of the race. Alex Gillen is currently scored on pit road. Just one driver, 1 lap down. That is Martin Fox down in P number 27. Let's have a look then at this gap between Mark Mercer and Fahim Atanides. It is 1.9 seconds. Lap time is important here. Mark Mercer is going to come past the start finish line. He's in the coattails of Paul Grillo out front. He is going to do a 1 minute 46.502. Atanides was 1/10 of a second faster officially, Rachel. That's not enough. He needs to be gaining half a second a lap now.
Yeah, not enough there for Fahim Antonides. He will hopefully try and catch up, but we really think that'll happen when Grillo and Mercer start fighting for the victory here. But as I said, they're seasoned campaigners. They don't tend to make mistakes like that, and I suspect that Mercer will sit behind Grillo until we come out of the final corner, at which point he'll make a draft pass. I don't expect him to move anytime sooner. He does not want Antonides and Adcock to catch up.
There's also another thing as well. There's a reason why Mark Mercer doesn't want to lead this race, Rachel. It's NASCAR terminology. You're being the sitting duck. We talked about how late down that front straightaway that start-finish line is. You do not necessarily want to be leading at a Lukey height on the final lap of the final race.
No, you don't. It's, of course, the vulnerable position. It's like coming out turn 4 at Daytona. In NASCAR parlance, of course, being in the lead. You want to come out of, Daytona. Sorry, no, I lost myself in a moment there every time someone says Daytona. But, coming out of turn 4, leading the two-car train, you're the victim. You're the one that's going to be in that position to be taken advantage of. And well, that's Paul Grillo right now. In fact, I'm sure you'll try and find a way to give up the lead to Mark Mercer in this final lap or two. He wants to be in that spot because he knows he can't defend this. So Mercer going to have to be pretty savvy. Because if Grillo does back up and try and let Mercer pass, that means Adcock and Antonides can catch them. We'll soon have a big fight.
Keep sharp. Simon Maltby battling for position right now. Sharp in the 932 Red Devolution car. Then you've got yourself right behind number 16 machine, SRM, as they come out of the final corner. There are 2 laps left of this race to go. We are down to the final couple of laps of this evening's event here on RaceSpot TV and on iRacing Live. Gap between Mercer and Adcock. Adcock past Antonides. There's a newsflash. 2.6 seconds now. Last time by, P3, 3 tenths of a second slower than P number 2. They are heading themselves down in towards the hairpin. Side by side for the race lead then. Here we go. They start the battle now. Mercer goes to the point. It was a clean pass. They actually gained 2 tenths of a second in the process, but Grillo goes back. Mercer didn't want to lead, Rachel.
He did not. He let himself go very wide. He nearly fell for Paul Grillo's trap there, but managed to hold himself out of it, and Grillo was left in the position where he had to go. This is exactly what we said, though. It's going to close that gap to Antonides and Adcock. Of course, Adcock back in P number 3 right now. So this is getting very intense there. The gap here right now is about 2.5 seconds. But realistically, Grillo and Mercer are pretty safe fighting for P1 and P2. Which number is it going to be? That will be the tricky question here. Is Grillo trying to get himself slow, as though lap traffic is going to play a factor, because up ahead of them, that is the car, I believe, of... I thought it was Patrick Fairbanks. It's not. It's Tim Gibson, who goes straight to pit road. He's getting out of the way of this one. He wants no part in it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the white flag will be out on top of the iRacing.com flag stand this time by. There is one more lap of this event to go. Your top 10. It is Paul Grillo leading almost side by side. There you can see Mercer will go down to the inside in towards turn number 1. He wants a piece of the cherry. He will go for the race lead. Antonides versus Adcock. Antonides will go past Adcock in towards turn number 1. Mercer is trying to find a way of allowing Grillo to get back past him. They're slowing down. They've lost half a second already. Now Grillo, oh, they almost made contact there on the exit of 2, down in towards 3. The rest of your top 10, you've got Grunhill in 5th, Williams 6th, O'Connell 7th, Adcock, Cohen and Fraser rounding out your top 10. Grillo on the outside as they work themselves through the hairpin. Half a lap to go now, and these two guys will pretty much be side by side for the remainder of this event. They have a 2-second advantage over Antonides. That is enough to mean they can now duke it out. We go on board with Mark Mercer as they work themselves towards the Lukey Heights. Whoever is leading out of the next series of corners, they may not win the race. The race may only just be going, but Mark Mercer trying to angle his car to the outside. They make contact. They make contact there. Grillo will get the race lead. Mercer looks like his suspension is damaged. He's going to lose a position to Fahim Antonides. He makes contact with Antonides down into Lukey Heights. This is Grillo's race by a landslide, and it all started with an issue between himself and Mark Mercer. Grillo will claim victory here at Phillip Island by 1.8 seconds. Mercer will come home in 2nd, then Antonides in 3rd, then Adcock in 4th for the time being, but it'll be a dash to the line here. Who's going to get it? No, that will be as is. Mercer, then Antonides, then Adcock. Let's have a look behind. Have we got any photo finishes, Rachel? Actually, pretty subdued, but I tell you what, that last lap was not subdued between Mark Mercer and the driver of Paul Grillo. We've got ourselves a replay on your screen. We're going to try and super slow-mo it. Then this is from the exit of the 2nd hairpin. They work themselves up the hill, and it's as they come towards Lukey Heights. You want to start slowing it down, Rachel. This is all going to come down to what we like to call avoidable contact. Did someone try and put their car into a position where it shouldn't have been? Was the angles just wrong? I'm just slowing it down right here. That's where the first contact is. It does look as though, on one hand, yes, Grillo might have come down on Mark Mercer, but Mercer went for a gap.
Comes in very late.
Very late.
Absolutely, that
what I
car
think
comes
the
in
issue was.
super late, Will. But the big problem I saw there was Mercer's rush to get back going again. And whilst this wasn't with Paul Grillo, if we look down towards Lukey Heights and the drop into the hairpin, slams it up the inside of Antonides, harpooning the side part of that car, and forces his way back into P number 2 there, where he had realistically lost it. So a bit of a panicked scramble there from Mark Mercer, losing his cool in the final lap. But I think that was a 50-50 Grillo and Mercer. Grillo, yes, he came down, but neither wanted to lead. Mercer did come in pretty late, so perhaps not expecting how much Grillo would slow down.
I'm just trying
It was
to
certainly
draw
an odd
a
incident.
bit of track there. That's where I think the racing line should be, really. You've got two distinct lanes there. And I'm just going to clear that. We're going to play it on slow-mo once again as these guys come down. And you can see that actually Mercer's pushing across, and he does die very late there. At that point, I think that Grillo thought that Mercer was going to come in behind him, because Mercer was running himself in the centre of the racetrack, but then, as Rachel just alluded to, we're just going to speed it up here. And you can see he back into his car, is going to slide out. He goes off the racetrack, and I'm going to pause it here. And you notice that he has a bit more overspeed. And again, look at the two different racing lanes as they come down into the corner. Right there, we'll show it for you. So you can see, you've got Antonides. He's clearly inside his lane into the corner. Then you've got yourself the number 33 car on Mercer. He's on the inside. But it's not necessarily just that. That's the incident. I'm going to go all Grood on me today. Just have a look as they come down. Right about here. That Mercer just can't slow that car down. He's carrying too much power, trying to brake as late as possible. He literally barges Antonides out of the way. And that is what, Rachel, we do classify as an unsafe rejoining of the racetrack in technical terms.
You could say that. That was definitely a bit unsafe. The drivers are actually chatting out in the paddock at the moment. I've just overheard their conversation. They're saying they didn't even get a contact warning. The iRacing system, of course, does score a vehicle contact in the light 0x contact or 4x heavy contact warning, and I'm surprised that wasn't a 4x because some ping pong happened right there. Mark Mercer bouncing hard off the side pod of Antonides. And, well, I think Antonides had the right to turn in. Mercer definitely tried to recover his spot, and that was very difficult to call, but that was a heavy, heavy contact.
Indeed. But we do have a race winner. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the driver of Paul Grillo. And there is confirmation then. With a time of 1.6 seconds to the good, Paul Grillo wins the third round of this Club UK&I Monday Night Skippys and Race Spot TV. Mark Mercer in second, Fahim Antonides in third, then Stuart Adcock in fourth. Top four drivers separated by 2 seconds: David Gunhill, Clark Williams, Mark O'Connell, Peter Cohen, Bill Fraser, and Paul Thurston, rounding out your top 10. We head it on a little bit back, and you can see you've got Piers Cokie in 11th, then P number 12 is Tim Adcock, Sharp, Maltby, Ridgway, where you round out your top 15. They are all separated by 30 seconds on track. Stuart Dick in P16, Rich Jones in 17th, Cole Handley, Barry West, and Sam Waltley. They are your top 20. Then you can see then the rest of your top 30 on your screens. You had yourselves 24 finishers. 2 drivers scored 1 lap down. And then your retirees, Alan Patterson, we saw big incident, of course, by him. Alex Gillen, Patrick Fairbanks, Mark Fisher, all crashed out of the race. Ryan Walker, Russell Barnes, Gitto. Mick Watson, Jonas Van Verke, Ed O'Neill, Lee Harding, and Rick Paul, though, did not start this evening's event. Well, Rachel, it's been fun here. Once again, Monday Night Skippys never, ever seems to disappoint.
Yeah, it doesn't ever disappoint. Well, we always have incredibly exciting racing here, and wow, what a way to kick off the UK&I Skip Barber Racing School Series' debut on iRacing Live. A fitting race, and well, we roll on to next week, and it's going to be an intense rest of the championship. Of course, this is week 3. We've had 3 different winners so far. It's going to only get better. I cannot wait for next week.
Indeed so, and of course, don't forget, there are 6 series that RaceSpot TV are bringing to you on iRacing Live in association with iRacing.com. Your week starts early with V8 Supercar actions. It is the V8 Supercar Strength of Field. That's every Monday lunchtime in the United Kingdom. That's, of course, Monday night prime time, Monday night V8. And then on Monday evenings, you got yourself Club UK&I, Monday night Skippys in support of Shelter. Then you go through to the weekend. You'll see we've got ourselves coverage of the iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series and the iRacing.com Pro Series of Road Racing where available. We've also got yourselves coverage of Skip Barber 2K World Cup action. That takes place every single Sunday night. It's a slightly longer version of what you see here on Monday night. They have to do a pit stop, but it is just as fun. I guarantee you will enjoy watching it. And then finally, 2 huge endurance series. You got yourself the Neo Endurance Series, the absolute pinnacle of league endurance racing, and then their support series, the Gathering of Tweakers Endurance Series. They are coming this month and all winter long here on your home of the world's greatest sim racing broadcast. That is RaceSpot TV on iRacing Live. And don't forget, the next round of the iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series, that is this weekend. It's the last round of the series. It is Hutu homecoming for the 2nd year in a row at Circuit of the Americas. Last time he went to Dakota, he was the champion. He didn't even make it though into turn number 1. Bear that in mind as we go to Texas, deep into the heart of Texas this coming Saturday. And don't forget also, it's time to go racing endurance racing once again. It's the iRacing.com Road Warrior Series. And oh yeah, it's the iRacing.com Betty Lemont from Road Atlanta. Daytona prototypes alongside some classic GT3 racing cars. That will be right here on iRacing Live from 1 PM GMT. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, before we leave you tonight, one final thing I want to say, and it's a reminder that Monday Night Skippys is brought to you free of charge. In about 6 months' time, I am participating in the London Marathon. It's 26 miles worth of absolute hell, and it's for a good cause. It's for Shelter, a charity who is designed to raise awareness about people struggling with bad housing and actually put a stop to poor quality housing and homelessness. So if you have got the chance, give a couple of pennies, support my fight to help Shelter be the charity of RaceSpot TV this coming year. That is all we have time for tonight. I've been Will Vincent, that's been Rachel Whiteford, and we will see you all next time. Bye bye.